Hello and welcome back to the Cash vs. Trash podcast with your hosts Rob and
Demi, where we watch the highest and lowest grossing movie of each year from 1970 to 2021, picked at random, then decide if they deserve the title of either Cash or Trash.
I had a housekeeping section here for the top 10 movies of 1998, but I forgot to put them in. So you guys are just going to have to live in suspense. Hi guys, Rob from the future doing the edit, and Demi and I discussed it and thought, this episode's pretty short. We probably can put the top 10 list in, so I'm just going to do that now. If anybody really, really badly wanted to know and couldn't do a quick Google search, it is a service we provide, I suppose, so I should probably hold true to that. Anyway, obviously, Armageddon was in number 1. Number 2 was Saving Private Ryan, which I did mention at the end of the episode, so a little bit of a, going back there. Anyway, forget that. Number 3 was Godzilla. Number 4 was There's Something About Mary. Number 5, A Bug's Life. Number 6, Mulan. Number 7, Dr. Dolittle. Number 8, Shakespeare in Love. Number 9, Lethal Weapon 4. And number 10, The Truman Show. And just because I'm really nice, to give you a taste of the kind of movies, I'm not going to tell you what they're about because I have no idea. These are the movies that were around Cousin Bette. It was number 200, and I'll go from 195 was a movie called Live Flesh. I have no idea what that is. Number 196 was The Gingerbread Man. Again, who knows? 197, The Celebration, which we almost ended up doing, because it has more information on it. But anyway, 198 is In God's Hands, and 199 is Henry Fool. Of course, Cousin Bette is number 200. Anyway, back to the show. And this week, we are looking at the lowest grossing movie of the top 200 in a fair fight, according to boxofficemojo.com.
Yep.
So I think we're just going to say that every lowest grossing episode, because every episode could be somebody's first episode. And don't come at us with like, oh, it was actually something from Germany that was only released in a little village in Germany.
Yeah.
That doesn't count. It's a fair fight. It was released in whatever countries. Also, it's so hard to track down accurate information. As soon as you get earlier than 2000, it's just all up in the air.
It's a bit harder, especially for the lowest grossing.
Yes.
Because, we didn't struggle with Armageddon or Independence Day.
No,
but
not at all.
The lowest grossing, they just don't put much information out there.
We did have a little bit of trouble with, the budget and box office stuff for those movies. Just a little bit, but not like a crazy amount. But for this, it's just, there was nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, this movie, it's like it wasn't even made. It just appeared one day.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, anyway, yes, Cousin Bette, an UK American movie, a romantic dramedy, obviously from 1998, and starring Jessica Lange, the greatest woman in Hollywood, as the titular Cousin Bette.
You might recognize her from King Kong, the 1976 film, American Horror Story, and Tootsie.
Yeah, she was pretty much like the face of American Horror Story for a while.
Yeah.
We normally don't put TV roles in there, but it's sort of getting to the point where TV isn't getting to the point. Ever since Breaking Bad came out, prestige television has been more popular than movies a lot of the time. And I guess American Horror Story falls under that banner.
Yeah.
It certainly seems different than normal TV.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Shue as Jenny Cadine.
You might recognize her from The Karate Kid, not the Jaden Smith version.
No, not the crap one. Not the one where it's called The Karate Kid, but he learns Kung Fu.
Yeah. The TV show The Boys or Hollow Man.
That's another one where that's definitely more like, in my opinion, like more prestige television.
Yeah.
And they call it that. It seems like a pompous title, but it's just different.
Yeah.
Kelly MacDonald as Hortense Hulot.
You might recognize her from No Country for Old Men. She's the voice of
Merida.
Yeah, in Brave, and she was in Trainspotting.
1 and 2, and what did you say she was in?
Nanny McPhee.
The first Nanny McPhee. She is the girl or the.
I think it's the second one.
Is it the second one?
Yeah.
She's in one of them.
Yeah.
I thought that she was in the because I haven't seen the second one. I thought that she was in the first one as like the maid who Colin Firth ends up marrying.
Yeah,
Spoilers.
that is who she is. But
So
I
that's
think
the first one.
Is it?
Well, in the second one, set like 50 years later,
I
set
don't
in
know.
World War II.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway.
Nanny McPhee against Hitler. Directed by, and I'm just going to have a crack at this, Des McAnuff, or McAnuff, I don't know, McAnuff, I honestly don't know.
I don't know.
Sorry if I absolutely butchered that.
Probably.
He's known for The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle, the movie. That was his second movie. Cousin Bette was his film debut, which shows. And Caesar and Cleopatra and The Tempest. He doesn't have a lot of film credits, directing credits under his belt. He's mostly known as a theater director.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it shows.
Yeah, it shows, and don't judge us too harshly on that comment. We'll get into it later.
Yeah.
Later.
So the budget of this movie is missing.
That's what I wrote. 3 question marks.
Yeah. No, like we said before, we couldn't find much information.
Yeah.
I looked on a few different places. I couldn't find what the budget is. But anyway,
I can't imagine it's high.
Well, considering they filmed in France,
but not in Paris where it's set.
True, and it's got pretty good actors in it, and like the costume and set design.
Yeah, but it's got like we think of Jessica Lange as Jessica Lange now.
Yeah,
but this was 24 years ago. Yeah, it was released in June. So yeah, almost exactly 24 years ago. Sorry, I was just like, what? Oh my God. And most of the people in this movie were pretty small time. Like Hugh Laurie was around this time was still doing, like, I think he was still doing Blackadder. I think that was through the 90s and stuff. And all that sort of whatever. Everyone else is primarily TV or small-time movie actors and that sort of thing, and up and coming.
Yeah.
You know, there's some young. So I don't think that they would have got paid a huge amount. I think this is more of like the, it's based on whatever book from when, I think it was written in 1846 when it's set, which is interesting.
Yeah, but I think the book came out. Oh no, there's another film.
I think it's a show.
Yeah.
1971.
70,
yeah. Which is always more popular when I was looking it up. It always came up with that first.
With that, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, it grossed 1.3 million, and that is domestically. There was no information for internationally.
Yeah.
So.
Do you have 1.3?
Yeah.
I saw before on something it was 1.16.
Well, yeah,
so
one place says 1.16 and then the other one says 1.3. So maybe that gap is the international grossing, but we don't know. It doesn't say specifically.
Surely this was released internationally.
It was, we saw.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, because all the records just come back and say, here's what it made domestically, and then here's what it made worldwide, and they're the same.
Yeah.
Pretty much every time we looked at it. I think that's like what we were talking about before. They just go, here's how much it made, whatever.
Yeah. They can't be bothered with it. Its opening weekend, it made 76,488. It was rated 41% on Rotten Tomatoes with a 40% audience rating.
One of the very rare times that I've seen where the critics and the audience are pretty much
matched.
Yeah. Everyone has the same opinion of this movie. I saw on thenumbers.com, which was the one that said 1.16.
Mm-hmm.
That adjusted for inflation, it'd be like 2.27
Yeah.
million.
Yep.
So not quite double.
Yeah.
Yeah, which, yeah.
Mm.
So that's how much it would have made these. Well, if it was released these days, I don't think it would have made anything.
Yeah, no. All right, so after the death of her cousin, lonely spinster and theatre seamstress Bette Fisher aids her late cousin's family while also assisting a young artist. After her two worlds collide, leaving Bette lonely yet again, she sets out to make all those who wronged her pay dearly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happens without spoiling it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that many, obviously judging by box office, not many people saw this.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and say the biggest thing it's got going for it is story-wise, so if
Yeah.
you don't want anything spoiled, because it is, and we'll get right into it
Mhm.
about the story in spoilers, but I feel like this is the kind of movie that you probably don't want spoiled,
Yeah.
because there are things that happen that I was like, oh wow, that's pretty surprising, and we'll get into how effective they were in spoilers, I think. But
yeah.
I enjoyed the story,
Me too.
and I think, and we'll talk about it a bit more, but I think the costumes and stuff like that were great.
Mm-hmm.
As the director, I'm not going to try his name again. He is obviously, like we said, a theatre director most of the time.
Yeah.
And
So he paid a lot of attention to the costumes and all that.
yeah, the costumes, the sets, I should say, the feel, I
Yeah.
suppose,
Yeah.
and you can see how it's affected casting, but we'll talk about that in spoilers.
Yep.
Anything else non-spoilery you have to say?
I don't think so.
I can say, not to throw Demi under the bus, but we watched this, as we always do, twice. Once just to enjoy it, and the second time to take notes.
And I fell asleep.
Yeah, you fell asleep twice. To be fair, we are all sick at the moment.
Yeah, we're a
both
bit
of us,
unwell.
and both of our kids were a bit. Well, I think they just got over it and passed it on to us. So yeah, cheers, kids. Yeah. You have anything else?
No.
Nope. Okay.
We'll see you in spoilers.
Yeah. It's spoiler time.
Mm-hmm.
Time for spoilers. Poor old boy Wenceslas gets got in the end.
Yeah.
Gets blown away.
He deserved it.
I don't think he deserved to die.
Yeah, I
If
suppose.
anyone deserved to die, it's Hortense, the twat.
Yeah.
He's a bit of a dog of a bloke, sure. But, like, she actively goes out of her way to steal him from Bette.
Yeah.
For no reason. She says to him, I don't know what I'd do without Bette. She's a mother, a nanny, and a older sister all in one.
Yeah.
I owe my happiness to her. And I'm like, then why are you doing this? Just stop. Just be like, hey, look, got a little bit, wrapped up here.
Yeah.
Don't know why I'm trying to ruin my cousin's life, even though
It's like she didn't even know that what she was doing would upset Bette.
She says to her father, Hector, played by Hugh Laurie, you have just seen cousin Bette's sweetheart, who is now mine.
Yeah.
And I was like, you evil little fucker.
Yeah, but, like, you can see that she's not doing it to be evil. Like,
It's still an evil thing.
She's just so happy that she has a husband.
But
it's weird.
It's so... If I was Bette, I would have stabbed her in the neck.
Yeah.
Like...
Well, what she did was better, I think. She played the slow game.
That's the difference between men and women. I would just be like, you did a thing to me, now I'm just going to hurt you. Whereas women are like, so it begins. And yes, all women, come at me.
Please stop.
Get some attention for the podcast. No, I mean, I get why she did what she did. Not Hortense.
Bet, yeah.
I get why she took it out on them because she was already so bitter. It's in that scene, actually, where just before she finds out that she's like, they beat me and they caressed Adeline, her cousin who dies at the start. And then it's revealed.
Yeah.
And she's like, goes into shock, understandably. That's probably the best scene in the movie.
Yeah.
I think it's the most cinematic. It's the most like impactful. It's one of the few places in the movie where the music and the acting and the editing and everything like that all mesh
work
the most
together.
in that scene. There are some other scenes that almost get there, but I think that's the pinnacle.
Yeah, that was
I
a good
feel.
scene.
Yeah, this has been Cousin Bet. No, just joking. This will be a short one though.
There's not a lot to say.
Yeah, there's not a lot to say. It's mostly story stuff. You know, we covered half of it in the non-spoiler part. You know, like, and what I'm talking about is the costuming, the sets, the locations. They're just so good.
Yeah, they are.
There's not really any stunts. There's some special effects I couldn't find. I didn't really look too hard for them, for like information on them, but it's pretty standard stuff. You know, there's the duel between Hector and Craval, who is like introduced as a sleazy guy, but he is with women.
Yeah.
But then over the course of the movie, you see he's got his own sort of, I guess, honor or own moral compass that isn't, like, he's probably one of the better people in the movie. You know, when Hortense comes to him, I'm jumping around here, but when Hortense comes to him,
for the money.
Yeah, he's like, no, don't show me your body like I requested before.
Yeah.
I'll just give it to you.
Yeah.
Which could be because he like almost got his head blown off.
Well,
but I don't know.
When we first watched it, I was like, oh, maybe him and Hector weren't friends in the beginning. That's why he was being creepy towards the daughter.
No, they're best mates, always.
Yeah, but then he just completely changes. Maybe because he had met someone, Jenny. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that Jenny Cadine is a perfect character. Mm-hmm. I think that's what I wrote down last night, and I sort of thought about it last night and this morning, and I'm like, yeah, I think her and I don't mean like morally. I think that as a character, everything that she does, says, the way she is, I think it all checks out. Elizabeth Shue does a really good job. I think that she's a bit limited in some places, and we should just get it out of the way. Nobody in this movie that is set in Paris, France in 1846 is French.
No.
Maybe some extras or definitely some extras, or maybe some really, really minor characters, but they're all either British, American, or not. Yeah, I suppose
British
slash. Because I always forget if it's like English, British, but British, because there's some Scottish people in it. So yeah, British, British, American, and Canadian.
Yeah.
And the person from Canada, and I was like, oh, cool. He's Wenceslas's actor, Aidan Young. He's from Canada. He's from Toronto, sure, but I'm like, he's probably intermingled with some French people.
Yeah.
There's French Canada over there. Montreal and I don't know too much about Canada, but he played a German. Wenceslas von Steinbach? Whatever.
Yeah.
So it's Count Wenceslas Steinbach. I think there's another name, there's another word in there. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure he's German, and he's the only one who actually puts an accent on.
Yeah.
And everyone else is like, well, I do say, yes, mademoiselle.
Yeah.
Yes. Or, like, Jessica Lange is just like, well, how are you? You know, just, oh, no, she's not too bad. Who am I thinking of? Elizabeth Shue, sorry. She just is full on American the entire time.
Yeah. And they don't say anything about it. Like, okay, it's a bit weird to make a film that's set in Paris and not have any French actors. But if you're going to do that, why not get them to play a French accent? They're actors.
Yeah. Or why not adapt the story but not have it be in France?
Or just say they moved there.
Yeah, but that, for the characters in the movie, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
I mean, you can easily have everything in the story happen 100% and not have it be in France.
Yeah,
There's nothing
true.
that, other than like the whole thing with all the counts and the lords not being rich anymore, they all take going to loan sharks and banks and stuff like that, and only a few of them actually have money.
Yeah.
And the Hulos have the least, and they've borrowed from everyone that they know.
Yeah.
And then Victorian is great,
Mm-hmm.
and his actor Toby Stevens
Yeah.
does a really good job. He's clearly not a, I wouldn't say he's a dumb guy. I think he's just naive and
Stressed out all the time.
yeah, he's not really thinking straight because he's so stressed out, and
Yeah.
he's clearly pretty pompous, but he's the only one who's actually worried about
Their situation.
their situation. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, the cook bought cutlets. We can't afford cutlets. Oh, we don't have any money. Okay, we need to fire some people and go get a loan.
Yeah.
Oh, the loan's 25% interest rate. I almost had a heart attack when I heard that. I was like, oh.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, as people who are pretty young in the grand scheme of things and are just getting into like loans and credit cards and interest rates and stuff like that, this movie was just stressing me out.
Yeah, that is so high. Imagine having a credit card with a 25% interest rate.
Yeah, it's...
No thanks.
We did.
25%?
Ours was 24 point something %.
Wow.
And I was like, I feel you, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got rid of that though.
Yeah.
Don't get a credit card.
No.
If you are able to cut your credit card in half and delete it from your life, do it. That's Rob's one tip.
This is our financing advice.
Yeah, welcome back
Financial
to
advice.
secretly we did the first few as like a bit of a trick, and now it's actually cash versus credit.
Yeah, we're just going to tell you how much you should not get a credit card. No.
This is another one of those movies where we'll do anything to talk about anything else other than the movie.
Example, fall asleep.
Yeah. Normally we're pretty strict with like, then we talk about this, then we talk about that. And then this time it's like, yeah, that was good. That was good over there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nah, I think we should just cut right to it.
Mm-hmm.
If this was the book, which I haven't read,
Me neither.
and we're not going to judge it by the book. We should have said that in the non-spoiler area.
Yeah.
Who fucking cares? If this was the book, or if this was a play, I would love this.
Yeah,
I
me
think
too.
The story is really good. The writing is good.
Yeah.
Where this movie falls apart is the cinematography, the directing, the cinematic experience, I would say.
It definitely feels like you're watching a stage play.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how, like you said, that's how it should be. Like, it shouldn't be a movie.
Yeah, it should be a play.
Yeah.
This would be a great play. Fantastic.
Because the story it's not like so unique, because this kind of thing has kind of been done before, but the way that it's done here is very unique. And the story is interesting.
Yeah.
And you want to, like, see what happens next. But the way it's filmed lets it down.
I'm not even talking about, like, going to a theatre and watching a play. I've watched recorded plays before.
Yeah, just watch it on TV.
And that, I think, pretty much all of them that I've seen, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's good, because I like theatre. It's just hard where we live to get out to to watch anything like that. But especially, with the past 2 years and COVID and all that stuff that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Don't need to tell anyone. Everybody already knows.
Yeah.
If you're listening in the far future and some dictator has just done a media blackout and you don't know, COVID existed. It was a thing.
Yep.
We just went straight away from the movie
Again.
as soon as possible. I'll break it down for how I feel.
Uh-huh.
Acting, 10 out of 10. Nobody was bad in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are over the top, but it works, which is why I'm like, why is this not just a recorded play? The set design, the locations, the costuming, just all that.
Yep.
10 out of 10.
Yeah.
The suspension of disbelief is like a 4 out of 10. How am I supposed to go, yes, this is all Paris, when it's... Are you so shocked that you dropped your paper?
I didn't mean to.
There's all these American accents,
Yeah.
and the British ones are the most egregious to me. And I think that if you had all French actors, or at least the main people were French, you can get away with a few Brits and Americans and whatever. If the core, those 3 actresses were all French, I'd be like, cool, whatever.
Yeah.
But then it would also be like, why is Hortense French if it adds? But you could even, because he says that Napoleon made him rich, and you could just go along with, yeah, he's English. Like you said, they moved there.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
the kids are...
born there or
because,
whatever.
Yeah, when he's like, oh, yes, well, what are we doing in this district, Hortense? And I'm like, what's going on?
Very confusing.
And it does look very Parisian.
Yeah.
But this could easily be a movie about London.
Yeah.
With the little beggar kids and that. It's only that the guards patrolling the streets are in the French Napoleonic uniforms. I think it's Napoleonic because I think that's what you say, but I don't know if those were standard or if he changed it. I don't know enough about French history.
Me neither.
That's a huge blind spot. I'm very into history, but I grew up buying into all the memes and jokes about how the French were not good at warfare when if you look at history, they were probably one of the best, if not the best, with the best record at least, up until the last 100 and so years.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I mean, that's just how I feel about it.
Yeah, and I pretty much feel the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really disagree with anything. There's nothing other than the costumes.
Yeah?
And sorry.
Oh, okay.
I was going to say nothing really stood out other than the costumes and the set.
I thought they were really good.
Yeah, they really committed.
They didn't look like costumes, which, I mean, that's the goal, but they looked, it's easy to just go, you're a lord, here's a nice, clean, thing, but it was even the differences between, like the colours people wear.
Yeah,
I
speaking
think.
of, Cousin Bette always wears black.
Yeah.
Except for in the ending scene, she's still got a dark coloured dress on, but she's got like a big white lacy collar.
Yeah, I think it's like, I don't know if there's like colour theory to this, but it seemed like the people who were, Bette's always in black, and the rest of the, I should say not the rest of the Hulots are always in white, except for Victorine. Him and his wife and their baby are pretty much always in dark colours as well. And I feel like, and same as Wenceslas, and I think it's sort of like, in my mind, here's how, I shouldn't say, colour theory, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but how it seemed to me was the people who were wearing the darker colours were more...
Poor?
No, that's what I was thinking at first, more connected to reality.
Yeah.
Like, Bette is all black all the time. Black Betty. And yeah, she's switched on to how the world is all the time. She's sad, she's miserable, and whatever. She has money,
Mm-hmm.
You know, like she said, she has savings, but it's whatever. And she's always, you know, straight down the line. This is how things are.
Yeah.
Wenceslas is like 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
He knows what it's like to be poor and in the dirt, but he's got the white or like the light colors, and I think they come through more
When he gets more money.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, and he's living a bit more lavishly.
And then like Hortense and Hector
Mm-hmm.
are always really bright until
Yeah.
at the end when Hortense is in darker clothes
Yeah.
after she's had a baby and realizes that Wenceslas is, you know, he's like most artists. All he
Yeah.
cares about is art and being famous,
Mm-hmm.
which that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
Lust for fame sometimes isn't a bad thing, but it can
Cause problems.
yes.
Yeah.
There's a difference. I should say there's a difference between somebody who's like a fame whore and somebody who wants to be recognized for their talents.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
what I mean.
Yeah.
Wanting fame and wanting to be recognized for your talents are two different things.
Mm-hmm.
And he seems like at first that he wants to be recognized for his talents, but what he actually wants is fame.
Yeah, fame and money.
Yeah. And she starts to wear darker clothes, and then right at the end, black.
Yeah.
And Jenny Cadine's all over the place.
Well, yeah, because she's a performer.
Yeah. But
so
she always wears red?
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, she's wearing white in the beginning, but yeah, like red and black and white.
Yeah. I mean, maybe we're way off. Or I don't know if you felt the same way I did, but that just seemed like it to me when I was watching it, that like the lighter clothes somebody wore, the less connected to reality. Or maybe it is like the money thing.
Yeah.
Because all the street bums and the kids, I don't know what you call them back then, the vagrants, I don't know the official title of I guess the peasant class.
Yeah.
Back then, it always differed country to country and time period to time period. But
Yeah,
let's say
that
the
sounds
peasants.
right. Yeah.
And then obviously this movie has heavy classism themes, and everything in this movie it's like it touches on a lot of stuff but doesn't focus on enough of it. The core story is really, really good.
Yeah.
And the acting is really, really good. We're just talking in circles because, like, there's not much to be... You can't get much out of it.
Yeah.
It's not a very captivating movie.
And it has the potential to be because, yeah, like the story is what keeps you watching it. But other than that, it's a letdown.
Yeah.
I think give this story to a good director and, well, not to say that he's bad, but
It's
if
uninspired.
if he had made this a stage play,
Yeah.
it would have been a lot better.
Yeah. I always ask one question when a book or comic book or when any media is adapted to be a movie, especially live action, if it's like a comic book or whatever, why? Because it can't have been for money, because it's not big and bombastic.
Yeah.
I think that it was maybe a passion project, but it's if you're going to write a book, it has to have a good story.
Yeah.
Right? Everything should have a good story, but a book, all it can have is a good
Yeah.
story and a good
Feel.
like the author should be able to give the people a sense of the world. Those are the two things I think should go into a book. With a movie, it's so much easier, but you need to be cinematic.
Yeah.
Because a play, this is just a play, but they move around a lot more.
Yeah.
There's nothing done in this that you couldn't pull off in one way or another in a play.
Yeah.
I
think
think.
so. Make it like a bit shorter, because this movie goes for an hour 48. So
cut out all the stuff at the end with the fighting in the streets.
yeah,
It didn't really need to be put in there. You could have just had them, like, I get that they're going off real world events, but you could just have the sound of that in the background, and then you go, oh, I wonder what that was about. Look it up, boom.
Yeah.
You know, there was writing going on.
Yeah.
But it just, I wish I had more to say. You know, I really do. This is going to be a really short episode. We had stuff written down to talk about it, but now I'm like...
Yeah. That's just how it makes you feel. Like, you're just like, meh, about the movie.
Yeah. I feel bad for the director because, you know, this was his debut, and then he did The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle. The movie is not good.
Yeah.
I watched that when I was a kid, and I didn't think it was good. And kid me was dumb. Dumb as fuck. I liked bad shit. I mean, I liked all the good stuff, but that movie's bad. Yeah. So I feel bad for him on that front.
Yeah, and it's a shame because there are good actors in this movie.
Pretty much all of them went on to do more things, so I don't feel too bad for the actors.
I suppose.
I mean, Jessica Lange was like Mrs. American Horror Story there for a while.
Yeah.
Hugh Laurie is very famous, Mr. House. Aidan Young, I've seen in other things. Elizabeth Shue's quite famous still. You know, she's in a lot of stuff, a lot of things. Kelly MacDonald, she still acts in a lot of stuff. Bob Hoskins, R.I.P. He was in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. He was the main guy. And the only other thing I know him from was, unfortunately, Super Mario Brothers. But, you know, can't keep an eye on every actor and see what they've been up to. Yeah. Sorry to all the Cousin Bette fans.
Yeah.
This movie, we sat down to talk a lot about it, and I mean, what?
Well, I think most people can agree because I watched the trailer for this movie before we watched it. And most of the comments were saying, like, it's such a good story.
Yeah.
And if you put, like, everything else aside, you can appreciate the story of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is kind of how we feel, too.
Give this movie to, like, Edgar Wright. Or... Who's a good romance director? Or
Nicholas Sparks.
He's not a director. Give it to somebody like Edgar Wright.
Yeah.
Because, like, with the music and the story, I think that he could do a really good job of it.
Someone who's better at directing movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a better director.
Well, he's not terrible.
Because he's a theatre director.
Yeah.
Well, okay, we're being very vague and kind of shit. But the things that I'm really talking about is like the scene where Bette gives the note that she wrote to Hortense and says, I found this on Wenceslas's study, in his studio, on his desk. And she's like, oh, help me get dressed. And then she just walks off, and there's no music cue or anything, and then Bette folds up the note and puts it next to Hector, who's sleeping not far from them, and then he reads it, and it's like, I get that it's supposed to be funny, but I think it should have been like, help me get dressed, and then it should have been like, dun 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 dun, like some
and like
heavy...
zoom in on her face and see her emotion about it.
Yeah, and maybe just show Bette, like, as she's walking past, slip it next to Hector and not have it be obvious, and then it's like intense, and then you see him doing his stuff, and the music is like really swelling to like really, because even though it's supposed to be funny, because he's like, oh, you know, I don't care. You know, she's going to come crawling back. It's just like, who cares? You know, get the
amp you up.
Like to be like, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
And then, of course, they just pass out. Yeah. But still... Like
you could have all that build up, and then they open the door, he passes out, she sees, she passes out, and cut the music.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, it could have just been such a big moment,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and right at the very start, we see Bette come in. We see her face clearly, and we see her just standing there. And then there's a really cool shot of Adeline looking at her, and her vision's really blurry because she's dying. And then as Bette gets closer and she sits down, her face comes into view. And it's really good character reveal, but we already saw Bette 2 seconds before this, so it just takes all the oomph out of it. Because in a play, the character would just come on and then walk forward. So the guy's like, the director's probably like, yeah, just do that. That's fine.
Yeah.
Or, oh, you do that. Oh, I don't know if he's French or not. Probably shouldn't just
make fun.
Well, I doubt any French person's going to get angry at me for that.
No.
They'll be like, oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah. There was another scene that we both like, well, 2 scenes, but it's really cool. It's so well done that it's like, why is this so cool? And everything really else is whatever.
Yeah.
If you don't remember or you haven't seen the movie, there's 2 scenes, very similar. The first one, there's an opera singer. Or do you want to say it?
No.
Okay.
You go.
There's an opera singer. I think it's opera. He's singing Italian. Very beautiful voice. And it goes through the family, and it's like a nice little shows how they react to the music.
Yeah.
Like Victorine is like looking up, like with an inquisitive look.
Like he's confused.
I'm not really sure what to make of this. Like trying to look smart.
Yeah.
But their uncle de Forsheim, another very British actor, played by, I can't remember his name, but he was the old man in Hot Fuzz, Mr. Treacher, who had the shotgun under his giant coat.
Yeah.
Mr. Treacher, that guy. And he, because of years of battle and being around cannons and gunfire, his ears are obviously just fucked.
Bugged, yeah.
So,
bit busted.
Yeah, bit busted, as our son would say. So he has a ear, I don't know what they're called, like an ear cone piece, listening device.
Yeah.
And he's like obviously got it in. And as the camera pans by him, it goes from, you know, like singing and that, and then it's a lot more like this.
Yeah.
Like this, because he's hearing it through
the hearing piece.
The thing.
Yeah.
And then it comes to the next person and it sounds like that.
Yeah.
That's pretty much exactly what happens. Yeah. It's like,
yeah. But it's more like when it's on him, it's more like cone sounding because it's.
Oh well, sorry,
I know
don't have
you
a cone
can't
in
do
front
that
of me.
now, but I'm just trying to tell the people.
It's got like a underneath, and then the same thing happens in which is another good scene actually, the statue reveal scene, where it turns out that Wenceslas is a dog of a bloke and hasn't been working. I will do nothing but work.
Yeah, no surprise.
And then he didn't do anything. He just did the arm. And it does look cool. Like, he's clearly really talented. It's just the arm coming out. Just flexing my muscles for Demi. And he's holding a sword. And then the rest of the marble is untouched.
Yeah, not finished.
But Uncle de Forsheim thinks it's great.
Yeah, that was good. He just doesn't care about anything.
Yeah. Well, I think it does look cool. Like, I do like the idea of like a soldier being swallowed up. And I think maybe that's what he took of it. It's like, but back then, war was a good thing. Like, I'm not kidding. That's how they saw it. They were like, yeah, go to war. It'll toughen you up. And then, World War I happened and they were like, fuck. This isn't
not
good.
Fun.
Yeah. Hortense gets what she deserves. I think we spoke about that earlier, though. She kills Wenceslas and gets arrested.
Yeah.
That scene is quite good.
When she gets arrested. On what we
like. Yeah, when she's like, Cousin Bette. And Bette goes,
how will I live without you?
And Jenny Cadine slowly turns and looks at her and she's like, oh my fucking... Like, she's not mouthing that, but you can see on her face. Elizabeth Shue does a really good job. She's like, oh my fucking God.
Yeah.
Like, I've been best friends with this person who could have just ruined me.
Mm.
Yeah, it's like she planned right from the start.
Yeah, to
Ugh.
just ruin their lives.
Yeah, and she wins in the end. She gets the baby.
Yeah.
Hector's a cripple, they call him. I don't know.
Yeah, he
I guess he
passed
just
out.
goes into he gets depression or something.
Yeah, because he passed out and then he was in a wheelchair
Yeah.
and just hasn't
I think
recovered.
it was too much to bear.
Mm.
You know, he's lost all respect. He's lost all his money. He's lost Jenny. His daughter's been
son,
arrested.
yeah.
His son, his daughter-in-law, and his grandson or granddaughter have fled.
Mm.
And the only people he's got left are Mariette, the maid, who is, I mean, I don't blame him, the way he looks at her,
Yeah.
and cousin Bette
yeah.
and the baby.
Mm.
And all the other workers are gone, and Craval doesn't seem to come around anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, he says he will, but it seems to be implied that, I don't know, it just looks very bleak, so maybe they don't hang out anymore.
Yeah, like all the furniture is covered up. And,
yeah. Which is, you get what you fucking deserve, as far as I'm concerned.
And then it's that weird scene where Bette renames the baby when Cecil is.
And it, like, goes into slow motion on her face, but not like, they didn't film it in slow motion, like, they slowed it down, and it's really creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, which works well.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, there's Jenny Cadine and the other performers, nuns singing in Latin.
Yeah.
And then they get up and their rear ends are exposed. Oh, my God. Oh, It was such an effort to stay on track with with this movie.
Yeah.
Like the last however many minutes, 10 minutes or whatever, because it's just so whatever. You know?
Yeah, I don't really have much more to say about it.
Yeah, I mean,
we kind of covered everything.
I'm just pushing it at this point.
Yeah, trying to like think of what to say.
So, we've been talking for a little bit now about Cousin Bette. We've tried our hardest to give it a fair shake of the sauce bottle and talk about what we liked, what we didn't like. We feel like we give it away a bit too early in some episodes, so we tried to be a little bit more vague and mysterious. So anyway, I went first last week. What do you rate Cousin Bette?
Trash.
As do I. I concur.
Yeah.
Trash. It's unfortunate. I like all the actors. I like all of the story. I like all the way it looks.
Yeah.
I like the way it looks internally. The look of the movie.
Yeah.
As far as like set design and blah. We already talked about it.
Yeah, yeah.
I like that. I do not like the way it looks as a movie.
Yeah,
I
me
don't
neither.
know how to say it. I don't know the lingo.
That's what I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a real shame. But
it's just the way it is.
them's the breaks.
Yep.
And the first time we watched it, I was like, I'll give this like a trash, but you know, like a light.
Yeah.
Light trash. You know, but now I'm like, nah, there's
after watching it a second time, I'm like, yeah, trash.
And I know it goes against the rules to do like a light trash.
Yeah.
But I just don't want to give like a score out of whatever.
Yeah.
But if I say, you know, it's trash, but it's not really that bad. You know, you should really give Cousin Bette a try. You know, you should really give it a chance. Once you get to know it, it's still trash.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, we'll let the jingle take us into the comparison between Armageddon and Cousin Bette, and maybe a little bit of why one did better than the other one. So yeah, Armageddon.
Yep.
Number 1.
And Cousin Bette, the
Number
lowest.
200.
Yeah. Very, very, very different movies.
Oh, about as different as it gets.
Yeah.
an action, a sci-fi action.
American.
Yeah, very America.
Mm.
America, fuck yeah. Versus a bunch of Parisians, the Parisian elite,
Mm.
and their trials and tribulations,
Yeah. Yeah.
I should say.
Yeah. Love struggles.
Love is the master, you are the slave. Not a bad song.
Yeah.
Didn't have, like, the lyrics were good and that. Elizabeth Shue's got a good singing voice, but there wasn't enough. The music behind it wasn't enough, I felt.
Yeah. Anyway.
We've moved on.
Yeah.
Well, actually, the soundtrack in Armageddon was better, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Even if there were weird father-daughter things. A lot of family relations, you know, in this, in Armageddon. Harry Stamper, Bruce Willis, thought that his soon-to-be son-in-law, I almost said Ben Stiller, Ben Affleck,
Ben Stiller.
playing AJ Frost, was a dog of a bloke, but it turned out he was just spirited. Whereas in this, he actually is a dog of a bloke.
Yeah,
Wenceslas.
definitely.
I'm not surprised in any way at all that Armageddon was number one and this was way, way down low.
Yeah, me neither.
Nobody's going to go watch this because I could just read the book. Americans don't read. No, I mean, it's just whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're the kind of person who would want this, you probably already watched the 1971... whatever it was. The episodes went for like an hour and a bit. Obviously, they would have had more detail and done the book service, so it doesn't surprise me. There's nothing about the look of this movie that I think would have really grabbed people's attention, and word of mouth would have just shot it. Shot it in the back of the head. It would have been a lot of, man, I left the theater because I fell asleep. I had the best sleep of my life watching Cousin Bette. So yeah, no surprise at all on my end.
Yeah, me neither.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess audiences of 1998 were half right because I am so pissed off that worldwide Saving Private Ryan wasn't number one. It was domestically, which means the US of A, but worldwide it was number two. Yeah. So, could have been talking about Saving Private Ryan last week.
Yeah. But this is 2 weeks now that it's been trash.
Yeah. What did we watch before that? Before Daddy Day Camp, 3 weeks in a row. Trash.
Yeah, 3
no wonder
weeks.
we're so... Maybe it's just fatigue.
Yeah.
So we're just like, another week, another
movies.
shit movie.
Yeah.
Armageddon, I wouldn't say was... yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 1998. Done, dusted, forget about it.
Yep.
It's
move
done.
On.
Mademoiselle. We forgot to say it before. If you want to get really drunk, every time somebody says monsieur or mademoiselle, take a shot.
Yeah.
In this very French but not actually French movie.
Yep. Good drinking game.
Yeah. But yeah, why don't you tell us where people can find us?
Yep. So we have a Patreon. Our Instagram handle is @CashVersusTrashPod. Our listening apps are Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, YouTube, Audible, and Google Podcasts.
Yep, and I think that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, and Stitcher.
And Stitcher, yeah. We realized that the links we were using weren't working, but we fixed those now. So all the links will be in the description.
Yep, they're all fixed up. I made sure, tested them all out. So I'm sure that we had thousands of people just furiously clicking, just couldn't get through. So now you guys just open up the floodgates.
Works now.
Yeah, as of recording, so 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. You can contact us. You DM us on Instagram, comment on YouTube. We always appreciate it. But the best place would be to email us at cashversustrashpod@gmail.com, all lowercase. It's set up directly to go through to my phone. I'll get the notification. If I might see yours, if I'm not just inundated by the flood of fan letters that we get and all the messages. Oh, we love you so much. So quick, get in there.
Yep.
Get in there. But I kid. I kid.
I don't think anyone believes you.
Maybe something will have changed by the time this comes out. No, please make more noise. Please give us a like, a rate, a subscribe, ring the bell on YouTube. Seriously though, rating. If you don't want to leave a review, just give us a 5-star or whatever you feel. But come on, you just do us a favor.
Yeah.
Give us a 5-star review, and that'd be really, really lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Give us a like, and I think I already said that. What else is there?
Share.
A chair?
Share.
Oh, share. Yes, please share us around. Tell your friends. Even if you guys don't like us, if we're not your cup of tea, just tell somebody else. Say, hey, you'll really like this.
Yeah.
To somebody.
We'd appreciate it.
Yeah, anything. Any press is good press.
Mm-hmm.
Just get on a mountain and scream out, cash versus trash! We'll take it.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry about that. Got a bit emotional. Up next is Star Wars, or as it's known these days, Star Wars A New Hope. We're doing 1977.
Yep.
So tune in next week for that.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully that cracks the glass ceiling and all the Star Wars fans come in and just... I don't care if they attack us. I don't care, because it's just... Pump up those numbers, babies. We got rookie numbers. Get them up there. I'm going to say something controversial. I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you. I'm going to switch your mic off next week. It's going to be bad. Spoiler alert, Demi is not a Star Wars fan.
No.
So, anyway, thank you for listening. We really appreciate it. This has been the Cash versus Trash podcast.
See ya.